Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, whenever or wherever you're watching or listening. This is the Awesemo NHL DFS Strategy Show, and I'm your host, Michael Clifford, aka Slim Cliffy. Joining me for the next hour to discuss our favorite holiday films, our single-entry cinema file, Mr. Joshua Harris. Josh, how you doing today, buddy?
Doing pretty good. I know a lot of people got absolutely destroyed last night, so we got to, stay golden. Golden Girls on. So we'll bounce back tonight. Last night was one of those slates where, we have those a couple days a year where third and fourth, like Britain's own Nathan Walker, not a single person rostered him. That's how how that night went. That dude had 3 goals, not a single person had him.
Yeah, exactly. Those are, I think you and I talked about it a few days ago, private messaging on Discord. There are just some nights where cash game lineups are going to get there. And that's, last night, not saying that cash game lineups swept the board, but there were some cash game lineups that won GPPs last night. That's on a 10-game slate. That's kind of rare because lines do tend to go off. But I think this is the second time this has happened this year where we've had a large slate and it's been more cash gamey type lineups that have gotten there. That's just kind of the way it goes. I mean, every once in a while, cash game lineups are going to win the night. Players don't score. You'll have St. Louis getting all their scoring from the bottom 6, or you'll have Nashville actually scoring 4 goals, but they all came from the third line, I think, or something like that. So those are just kind of that's just the way it goes with NHL. I mean, NHL is just hockey is just such a random game. Yeah, he is Australian.
Yeah.
I think you're thinking of Liam Kirk was the Arizona
Put
draft.
Another shrimp on the bobby. Nice accent. Well, yeah. New Jersey.
Yeah, we'll just mix the two of them together. Why not? But not everybody did poorly. I did get a message on Twitter this morning from Bob Davis. He's a regular watcher of this show, BDog22 on DraftKings. He finished second in the $40, had himself a mid 4-figures night. Good on you, B-Dog. He played Winnipeg 2 with some Stamkos Palat and then some value from the Blues. So, he didn't have Nathan Walker, as you mentioned, but nobody else did. So you didn't really need to have him. Having Stamkos last night was a big one. He had a 4-point night. That top line went absolutely berserk. I think he had 4 points. Palat had 3 and Radish had 2, if I'm not mistaken. So, good on you, BDog22, second in the $40. You had a good night. The rest of us didn't, but hopefully we can have a much better night here tonight. We have 7 games ahead of us. Before we get too much further, I see about 40 people in the chat. If you guys could throw us a thumbs up and click that subscribe button. We are well on our way to 69,000 subscribers. Helps keep these shows coming on a regular basis, and click that bell if you want to get alerts whenever we do go on the air. Should remind everybody that we are brought to you by Yahoo Sports. Yahoo Fantasy, sorry. They are our sponsor for so far, have been for the entire season, have been very good to us and to some of the subscribers that have jumped ship over to Yahoo and played over there as well. So we have a little giveaway through Yahoo we'll talk about later. But for now, we'll just talk about our free premium tools and data up on the site that we have almost every day, today being no exception. We have NFL Week 14 top stacks. We have NBA player rankings. We have NHL player projections, and we have MMA fighter rankings all up on the site. So whether it's NFL on Sunday, NBA or NHL tonight, or MMA this weekend, we have you covered. So head on over to awesemo.com to check out what we have for free premium tools and data. All right. It is a 7-game slate, as I mentioned to you, Josh, but it's not one of your typical 7-game slates. This is a 7-game slate where there are 3 very obvious, just utter smash spots. The first one is Colorado at home to Detroit. The second one is Florida going into Arizona. And the third one is Vegas at home to Philadelphia. Now, you and I were talking before the show. I'm probably going to play one lineup tonight. I might get to 2. You said you're probably sticking with one lineup tonight. So either way, the 2 of us are going to be playing somewhere between 1 and 3 lineups. When you have like a situation like this where there are, 3 or 4 clearly very obvious super smash spots, how do you handle that when you're whittling it down to just one lineup?
It's not easy. And a lot of the times I make the wrong decision. Like, honestly,
yeah,
like, I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
But I go with, so like, I trust the numbers. I try to do that because at the end of the day, I think I'm smart, but I know there's obviously people who are smarter than me. Alex Baker and Jake Howery being 2 of them, and they do the projections and all this stuff. And sometimes if I don't agree with it, I'm wrong, like, obviously sometimes I'm right over the numbers, but if I'm coming down to a tiebreaker and I don't know what to choose, I'm going to go with the numbers here. Like, Colorado, very high owned. Florida, not very high owned. And it's a little bit confusing to me. I would imagine their ownership's going to come up during the day. But if Florida is going to be this low owned tonight, like, it's going to be hard for me to avoid them. I want to get the most leverage possible in these high total games. And there's a lot of leverage on Florida right now.
Yeah, I think that's one thing we'll definitely talk about. We don't have our top stacks tool free up on the site for today, so people can't check out the leverage if you're not a subscriber. That's for subscribers only today. But if you are a subscriber, I think the leverage column in our top stacks tool is something that can be very helpful on a slate like this, because like you said, Colorado, I think Colorado and Vegas are going to draw more ownership than Florida because they're the home teams. And Vegas is relatively cheap as well when you look at some of the other prices. So I agree with you. That's a good one. Is think about where, like, tonight there are 3 obvious smash spots. You can only fit in 2 stacks. So, if you want to just avoid ownership, look for the highest ownership. If you want to avoid pricing, avoid just the high price guys. It's kind of what you want to do with your own lineup. I will say, personally, I really do look for leverage. I look for the lower owned spots, like, assuming all else equal, like assuming Florida 1 and Colorado 1 and Vegas 1 all have somewhat of a similar upside here tonight. I'll just take the lower owned line regardless of the price, right?
Yeah, and I guess it's because Colorado and Vegas are at home, so I guess that's why. I don't know I'm not sure it matters that the Panthers are on the road here. Like, the Panthers draw like 83 people a game at home, so like, it's not like crowd's gonna be a factor. Like, the Coyotes barely paid their power bill on time. There might be 12 people there tonight. It's not gonna be a huge deal, playing the Coyotes. The crowd's not gonna be a factor.
Yeah, it was just a week ago they were at home and got blown out 7-1 by Vegas. Like, and I consider Florida to be an equally offensive team to Vegas. So, if Vegas can do it last week, why can't Florida do it this week? But then you get nervous. It's like, okay, then I'm fading that 4 total Colorado team at home. And it's like, then I'm fading that 3.7 Vegas team at home on a Friday night where Philly might have had last night to have some fun. So I will say, personally, I just look for the lower owned spots, and that's what I do, assuming all else is equal. I think that's a good way to just kind of navigate these shorter slates if you're only playing a couple lineups.
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, you're going to have to make tough fades when you're playing one lineup. It's just going to happen. Like, playing one lineup, we've talked about it on other shows, is like, if you win a GPP even once during the year, that makes your season if you're a one lineup player, so you just got to be patient. you're going to be wrong more than you're right. And I mean, you can be wrong and still cash, right? You can play Florida and they end up doing well, but they don't do as well as say Vegas tonight. You'll cash. You're not going to win the GPP. And that's what I mean by wrong. Not like, getting absolutely just like destroyed by slamming in one of these lower owned spots.
Yeah. Should mention as well, as the chat said, there is a difference between DraftKings and FanDuel. There will be difference in ownership rates because of pricing and scoring and all that. So we do have Florida a little bit higher owned on FanDuel than we do on DraftKings here tonight. So it might depend where you play as well. But I agree with you. Let's just look for some good leverage spots and let's try to do some damage from there. All right, we do have 7 games to talk about. Let's get to that first game. New York Rangers 3.3 implied goal total. They're going into Buffalo. The Buffalo Sabres have a 2.7 implied goal total. Now, obviously, with, we just talked about all those smash spots. With all those smash spots available, there's not really a lot of ownership elsewhere to go around. So if you look at the Rangers top line, they're coming in at 7%. The Rangers second line coming in at 10%. And that's despite both lines being priced under 16K on DraftKings. Like, when you're getting a Zibanejad line at 10% on a 7-game slate, when they're priced at like 15K, that's when there's a lot of ownership that's going to be going elsewhere. So I think there should be some interest. I mean, the 3.3 total is definitely not nothing. So what do you think about this game, Josh?
Yeah, I actually like the Rangers tonight. We were talking earlier in the season how the Tage Thompson line was really good defensively. That has kind of changed since Rasmus Asplund came off that line. They're still pretty good offensively, but they've been trading chances at a fairly high rate recently, and they're going to be getting Strome, Panarin, Hunt. And I like that line tonight. Strome, Panarin for sure. They're actually not super expensive to 2-man. They're only like 11.5, which is reasonable for them. The Rangers top line going to be getting Cousins, Okposo, Asplund for the most part, I would imagine. I mean, that line is okay as well. They're giving up under 10 high danger chances per 60, but their expected goals is fairly, I think it's a little bit worse than league average. So I don't mind going to the Rangers top line tonight as a full line. Obviously that top line is their best line. Dryden Hunt he's actually stabilized that second line, but he's not like an offensive powerhouse. He did score the other night, but I think if I'm going to full stack anything, it would be that Rangers top line. I don't know if I'm going to get there in 1 to 3 because of all the spots we talked about, but I think the Rangers top 6 is pretty sneaky in MME tonight. And then if you want to go down to that third line again, I think, that's perfectly fine. Hedl finally had a power play point for the first time in 70 games, which is a crazy stat to me because I like him. I guess that's not why it's a crazy stat because I like him. That's just ridiculous. But Hedl, Lafreniere, 2-man, I think is in play if you're trying to power play stack some of these guys as well, and they're coming in under 1%. On the Buffalo side, you want to use that top line. I think, while Igor's out, I think we can take advantage of the Rangers' defensive issues a little bit. I don't mind going to that Sabres top line, going up against Strome, Panarin, Hunt. Their defensive numbers are okay, but there's nothing really on the Rangers that's going to worry me from a defensive standpoint. So I would imagine they also avoid Fox, which is a big thing. But 11% is, in a 2.7 total, not super exciting. I'd rather play the Rangers in this game, but you could definitely, the more lineups you make, you can start working in some Boston one.
Yeah. I want to just start with the Buffalo side where you left off, and I'm going to talk about the Dylan Cousins line actually, because I'm pretty sure Jake said he'd fire me if I didn't talk about the Dylan Cousins line on the show today. No, but the reason is because they've been good together this year, Cousins and Kyle Okposo. I was looking at their numbers this morning. In 75 minutes together, 66% of the scoring chances have gone to Buffalo with Okposo and Cousins on the ice. That's pretty good. That's a very good defensive / shutdown / two-way line. And that's the line that's going to be going up against Zibanejad. So that's what's kind of worrying me from the Rangers here is like there's literally only one line I wouldn't want my stack to face, and it's that Cousins line from Buffalo. So that's the thing that's kind of keeping me away from the Zibanejad, Kreider, Cackle line. So I do like Rangers 2 a lot better here, the Panarin, Strome, Hunt line. They're coming in a little bit more owned, but honestly, the difference between 7 and 10% on a 10-game slate or a 7-game slate just does not matter at all. So it's whether or not you like the line better. And I like the Rangers second line a lot better. They're generating 2.9 expected goals per 60 minutes, 61% of the expected goal share. They're going to see the Buffalo's first and third lines. And, you just talked about Buffalo's top line's defensive numbers sliding, and they have been for a couple weeks now. Still good offensively, but really giving it up defensively. So I like Rangers too. I like Buffalo too. I will say in my one lineup, I don't think I'm going to get to Buffalo. Rangers too will be in consideration in my one lineup here tonight. I want to talk about Gerard Gallant just real quick, the coach for the New York Rangers. He is very, very famous and notorious for instilling cross-seam passes and behind-the-net passes into the Vegas system when Vegas first started up there back in 2016. He was, believe it or not, like he wasn't at the forefront of that kind of revolution. Like the way 5-on-5 hockey has been played in the NHL has been completely revolutionized over the last 5 years. And believe it or not, Gerard Gallant and the Vegas Golden Knights were at the forefront of it. And I think that's kind of what you've seen with the struggles with the Rangers so far earlier this year, is that it's a completely different system than what they had played for 2 or 3 years. And I think it's taken some time, but now that, they got Kakko and Hunt, 2 good defensive players, I think they're starting to really find themselves, starting to find that rhythm within that system. And, it took a couple months, but they're finally there. And the good news is that they're at the top of the league while they've been quote unquote struggling. So I think the Rangers are definitely in due for some good things here, and I like that second line here tonight. I mean, it doesn't hurt that the Buffalo penalty kill is bad, right? Bottom 10 penalty kill in the league. So I think Strome and Panarin can definitely take advantage of that here tonight. On the blue line, I noticed, like I wrote down in my notes, no shot blocking. Like I didn't think there'd be anybody in this game that I'd have to worry about for shot blocks. Robert Hagg is typically the one guy from Buffalo that we think about for shot blocking, but he's out tonight. So I don't know if there's really a defenseman I like out of this game. I guess, are we going back to the Trouba well? Can we go 3 for 3?
Well, I mean, Ryan Lindgren didn't practice or didn't skate this morning. I don't know what his status is. If he's out, someone's going to move up. That's, worth keeping an eye on. I think there's other games where I like defensemen better. If you want to use Trouba for 5,500, I think that's perfectly fine. But, Fox, if you want to do some power play stuff, but that's really about it for me.
Yeah, and I had thoughts about playing Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, but I thought he'd be cheaper than 7,500. I honestly did. I thought he'd be like a 7,100 goalie. I'm not 7,500. That doesn't really interest me.
I don't really have much interest in either goalie in this game. Georgiev at 8,200, or it could be Keith Kincaid. I just, there's other goalies that I like.
Yep, I agree with that. All right, let's get to the next game. Pittsburgh, 2.8 implied goal total. They're going into Washington. The Caps have a 3.1 implied goal total. No Jake Gensel here for Pittsburgh. He was injured in the last game. He's going to be out for a while. No Brian Rust either. And when you consider that if Evgeny Malkin's out, that's basically an entire top line missing from this team. It's not nothing. It looks like Kasperi Kapanen's going to jump to the top line with Crosby and Evan Rodriguez. But at practice, they had Crosby, Rodriguez, Jeff Carter, and Dominic Simone on the power play. I don't know what to make of that. I'm not a big fan of it personally. Why don't you tell us what you're a fan of in this game, Josh?
Not much. No, but like we were talking before the show about Pitt 1, it's just tough to use them in 1 to 3 lineups tonight. There's just so many better options. I think I want to wait on that Pitt 1 line, Crosby, Rodriguez, Kapanen until they get a better matchup. Capitals, Capitals of 5-on-5 are just a weird team. I don't know how to describe it. The way they just play is just not fun. It's not good for DFS.
No, to me, it reminds me of a group of guys that just got together to play pond hockey or something like that, and they're just whipping passes across the ice until somebody can get a 2-on-1.
Yeah, it's just odd hockey. I just I don't know. Penguins one is for another day, but if you want to use them in MME, I think they're another spot that's going to go overlooked, especially with Kapanen there. He's he's 3,100, which is like $4,000 cheaper than what Gensel was. So I mean that line is much cheaper. Rodriguez and Kapanen have some history playing together. Rodriguez wasn't always up with Crosby. He was playing down the lineup with Kapanen. They have good numbers. Crosby and Rodriguez have ridiculous numbers together. So this line, in theory, should be pretty good. It's just one of these slates where it's going to go a bit overlooked because of all these smash spots. So I think in MME, this is another sneaky spot. Not much interest in any other line on Pittsburgh. If you want to have some Carter, I guess. For power play, I don't think you need to get to the power play here, especially with it being over 3 different lines. On the cap side, so what the Caps do at home is they send Eller out against the top comp, so he's going to see Crosby, and then so Kuznetsov, Ovechkin, Wilson are going to see a fair bit of that third line, Bluger, McGinn, and Zach Ashton Reese, and that line is actually pretty good defensively. And I don't want to use Ovechkin, like the Capitals 5-on-5 are just not great. So I know they're coming in around 7%, which does worry me because like 10% Ovechkin, if he hat tricks, man, forget about it. But
this could be a 9 p.m. logout game. Let's just keep that in mind.
Yeah. It concerns me how low their ownership is and what they're capable of. I don't think I can get there in one lineup. I think the line that I like, at least not full stacking, but at least taking pieces of, is McMichael Oshie. They're going to get the Carter matchup, which is the best line that you can take advantage of on the Pittsburgh side. Kapanen did move up and Drew O'Connor's there. So maybe that changes the aspect of them defensively. I would imagine it improves it a little bit, maybe. But, McMichael's only 2,800. Oshie's 4,100 on the top power play. They're garnering no ownership. 6,900, which is a nice price for the two of them. You get that power play correlation, let you fit in some expensive guys. So I don't mind getting to some McMichael Oshie, but everything else is MME for me.
Yeah, it's McMichael Oshie that I want to start with here today. I used them earlier in the season because McMichael's shot rate earlier in the season was just absurd. But in their 75 minutes together, 69 shot attempts per 60 minutes, 64% of the shots, and 63% of the scoring chances. They are just throttling the opponent when they're on the ice. They're just having some hard time finishing. And that McMichael has had a tough time finishing isn't a big surprise as a rookie. But, you have TJ Oshie on the other line. This guy's a very, very good NHL player. Captain America, exactly. And they're both, like you mentioned, relatively cheap. You can get them for 6,900 on DraftKings tonight for a 2-man, and then you can go and get, your Colorado one or your, Vegas one, or, if you're just Josh stacking Washington, which I don't think I would be Josh stacking the Caps here tonight, but Josh stacking is something we will be talking about a little bit later. So I'm with you. In my 1 to 3s, I don't think I'm going to have the Ovechkin line. It'll probably be McMichael Oshie they're one of the fillers that I'm considering here tonight. On the Pittsburgh side, I do like that top line. I really do like that top line because like you mentioned, Rodriguez and Kapanen have been very good together. And I think a lot of that is just Rodriguez has been very good for 2 years now. Like, I think that's just kind of it, is like he can bring along even an average NHL forward to very good numbers. And then you throw him with Crosby and it's game over. So I think I do have interest in that Pitt 1 line here tonight. I think you can 2-man stack Rodriguez and Crosby and get away with it. I think that's just fine. So for me, out of this game, I like Pitt 1. They'll be in consideration in my 1 to 3. Absolutely anything more than that, they should be in your consideration. I like Washington 3 as a filler. On the blue line, one guy I have kind of circled here is Martin Fairbury. I hope I'm saying that right. 20 minutes a game over the last 6 games or something like that, and he's by far their block shot leader per minute. So looks like he could be in line for a block shot bonus here tonight. Is there anybody maybe a little bit more expensive that sticks out to you?
Really? I mean, Letang's price has come down, but like he's just not a guy I'm going to one-off. If you want to get, have like a 3-man of Crosby, Rodriguez, Letang, I think that's certainly viable. The pit cheap guys, like minutes are concerned, like Matheson at 2,500, Marino 2,600, Pedersen 2,500. Like their minutes just are bothering me. I wish Matt Irwin got some more minutes on the cap side, but I'm agree. I'm gonna say Martin F. Like what Jake would do, just go first word, first name, first last initial, because I don't know how to pronounce it. So Martin F. Let's do it.
All right, we're putting in Martin F. He's definitely under consideration as a punt here tonight for us. Just we'll have some breaking. I see some news in chat for Vegas. We'll talk about Vegas a little bit later, but looks like they have some lineup changes on the way as well. But first, to get access to all the great Awesemo Plus tools and content for nearly every DFS sport out there, you can do it with a weekly pass, Awesemo Plus weekly pass, for $29.95. It includes full access to all the premium content and tools on Awesemo.com, including player projections, ownership projections, our premium Discord, our lineup builder, and a whole lot more. If you're a new user of Awesemo Plus Platinum, then you can take advantage of the promo code we have for this show, which is NHL Strategy Show, all caps, all one word. That's NHL Strategy Show for 25% off your first week of Awesemo Plus Platinum. You can find the link to activate this coupon in the description of the video below. And of course, if you're only looking to play NHL DFS, then you can sign up for one of our Awesemo Plus NHL weekly packages for as low as $3.95 a week. Stop guessing, start winning. Join Awesemo Plus today. NHL Strategy Show is your promo code, all caps, all one word, 25% off your first week of Awesemo Plus Platinum, but it's for new users only. All right, let's just jump in. Somebody's recommending a Radko Gudas in chat, but we're not on the Florida game yet. We're going to have to wait a little bit. Nashville, 2.9 implied goal total. They're going into New Jersey. The Devils have a 3.0 implied goal total. Now, what's interesting to me here is UC Saros is sick, illness, not playing. David Riddick played last night. That tells me Connor Ingram probably plays tonight. Now, Connor Ingram is an interesting goaltender because he was supposed to be the goalie of the future after Saros. It's just he landed in the KHL or maybe the Swedish league or something like that. And then there was some shady stuff that happened over there. And Nashville basically thought he wasn't going to end up their number one goalie. So they drafted that Askarov kid in the first round a couple years ago. Lo and behold, Connor Ingram kind of turned his career around, and now he's back in the NHL. He was supposed to be their goalie of the future, and he has put up good numbers elsewhere. So, this isn't Adam Huska coming in for the Rangers a couple nights ago. You know what? That's kind of what I'm getting at here. So why don't you give me your thoughts on this game, Josh? Because I think this is a fascinating game from a DFS perspective on this slate.
Yeah, I think Connor Ingram is better than Big Save Dave at this point.
I agree with that.
So, man, Vince McMahon let me down last night, huh?
Yeah, maybe we'll hold off on a replay of that until that comes through again for us.
Same ownership tonight, baby. No, I don't know. I don't know. Like the Devils lines have been pretty high event. Lots of trading chances here. Back to back on the road. I don't know.
And one thing I noticed too, in a couple games since Jack Hughes has been back, they're not really hard matching. They'll try to get the Hischier line out sometimes, but if it's Mercer line up, then they'll just put the Mercer line out. Like they don't really hard match.
Yeah, and the top three lines for the Devils in similar sample sizes are almost the exact same with shots against and expected goals against. So it's it doesn't really matter. It's not going to take much to get over the field on Nashville 1 tonight. I know they burned a lot of people and now they're going back to back. Who did they? Oh, it's the Island. It's a very short trip from Strong Island to Newark, New Jersey, man. Maybe that's what it is. Going to Long Island to Newark, man. That's just the two worst places on earth. But I'm
Canadian, so no comment.
I live in New Jersey. It's bad. It's not going to take much to get over the field on Nashville 1 here tonight. I think this is a pretty good spot. I like Blackwood if he's in, but like, again, nothing on the Devil side really scares me defensively. 2% on a fully correlated top line on a team that takes a lot of penalties. Yeah, they have a good penalty kill, but they take a lot of penalties. So, the problem is Ryan Johansson scores all the power play goals now, apparently.
I don't know what's going on there.
I don't know what's going on there. He has 8 goals. I think in the last 9 seasons he's had 6. No, that's a joke. But like, I think you can get to Nashville 1 here, especially in MME. 1 to 3, I'm not sure I'm going to get there, but 2.9 total on the road tells me that they expect goals in this game. So if you're doing 20 lineups, even just having 2 of 20 or even 1 of 20, you're over you're 5xing the field. So I think this is a pretty good leverage spot for Nashville 1 tonight. Going down the lineup, if you want to use that second line, like I feel bad hopping on the Rajo train. So I still like Eli Tolvin and Luke Cunnin 2-man. They're cheap enough where you can fit in some stuff. But for me, this is Nashville 1. I like Yossi again. On the Devil side, it's kind of, I don't know, like Hughes hasn't looked right since he got back. But again, there's almost no ownership on this line. I'm going to play this line, maybe not tonight in 1 to 3, but definitely in MME at this ownership until they turn it around. Like I've talked about, getting ahead of the trends. Like Jack Hughes, before he got hurt, was really breaking out. Like this was going to be his breakout season. He's going to get back there at some point, and I want to be on Jack. Phrasing. I want to be like, I want to have that line at really low ownership. Woo! When they go off. So I'm going to go back to that Jack Hughes line tonight. You want to have Hischier, Bratt, Zaka because they're fully correlated. I think that's fine. Ownership 8% on a 7-game slate is fine. So there is a lot to like in MME from this game. Not sure I'm going to get too much in 1 to 3.
So I understand what you're saying about New Jersey, about the Hughes line, and I do like them too. Here's my thing is that if they're not hard matching New Jersey 1 against Nashville 1, which I don't think they're gonna, that gives New Jersey 1 some pretty easy matchups down the lineup. You know what I mean? Yep. And New Jersey 1's come, fairly cheap, under 14K. If I'm not mistaken, they're all perfectly correlated on the power play. And Nashville has one of the worst penalty kills in the league over the last month, and it's a back-to-back. So like, I get what you're saying about Hughes and Sharon Govich, but I think like you, I'm gonna wait another day to play him. I think there are other depth spots that I like better in this one. So Mercer, Tatar, they've kept up their numbers, really good numbers together. As a 2-man stack, getting secondary power play minutes against an awful Nashville penalty kill. Like I think that's perfectly fine. But I do like the New Jersey top line here. I like both top lines. I'll say that. I really do like both top lines in this game. If I were to pick one to play, it would be the New Jersey top line. It's because I want to take advantage of that awful Nashville penalty kill. I just think in my one lineup tonight, I'll just say I don't think I'm going to have a stack out of this game. I'm just recommending what I would play if I was getting up to more lineups. On the blue line, I noticed Matthias Ekholm is getting down really, really cheap, but he also hasn't done a lot this season. So while he's cheap down at 2,900, it's also kind of justified. Is it Dougie Day times 2? Are we playing Dougie again? What do you like for defenseman here?
I like Dougie. I like Severson. I also like Ryan Graves. His price has come down to 3,800 playing with Dougie. I think he's definitely viable. I think, Yossi's fine. Like Fabro more expensive than Ekholm is just weird. But I think, honestly, I'd rather play Fabro. Like, I don't know. But, like, I don't think I'm going to play either. I think it's just, like, Yossi for the Preds. And then in order, I think it'd be Hamilton, Severson, Graves.
I mean, Fabro has played, I'm just looking at his game logs, over 23 minutes each of his last 2 games. If they're going to keep playing him that, maybe that's a reason why. Like maybe there's something going on with Ekholm. Like he was down to 20 minutes last game. Maybe he's injured. Maybe he's playing through something.
Sick 2 games ago, and then so I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that's it. So yeah, I don't mind that Fabro call either. I'm sure the chat will absolutely love Fabro here tonight.
Oh yeah.
Detroit 2.6 implied goal total. They're going into Colorado. The Avs have a 3.9 implied goal total. Detroit played last night. in St. Louis, got beat up pretty bad. 6-2, I think, was the final. Alex Nedeljkovic started last night, so probably Thomas Greiss tonight. No Nazem Kadri for Colorado. He's out. Andre Burakovsky jumps to the top power play unit. I didn't see even strength lines at morning skate today, but I assume JT Compher just jumps right into the second line center role, and then the rest of the lineup stays the same as last game. What do you have here, Josh?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to move Logan O'Connor after his 2-goal game, but who knows? I'm not the coach, but kind of hard to. Well, I guess you could full stack that top line with Logan O'Connor being 2,800, but I don't know. It's impossible to power play stack. I tried it this morning. You're going to have to take bits and pieces from the power play here again. And again, like we talked about last show, I think putting in Tays over Makar helps you fit in those pieces. If you want to do like McKinnon, Landeskog, Burakovsky, Tays, I think that's a fine 4-man, something like that. If you want to put, Burakovsky in over Logan O'Connor with that top line, I think that's perfectly fine. Because you see the ownership, 25%. I think, you want to, Burakovsky's down in that third line during evens. If you want to, put him up onto that top line, he's coming in right now around 3%. That's going to lower that 3-man stack a lot. I think that's a good way to get different tonight. Doing like McKinnon, Rent, and Burakovsky. I know it's over 3 even strength lines, and maybe that's not the most ideal thing, but in this high of ownership, in this high of total, I don't mind doing that. I think you can, man, I just don't like JT Compher, but I think you can full stack that second line with Joe Veleno there. That second line numbers have just been brutal. There's just a lot to like out of the Avs. It's just tough, like, to full stack a line and like think like, oh yeah, Logan O'Connor is going to score twice again, and you just feel awful fading Rantanen. You know what I mean? So I think like getting bits and pieces of the power play is how I'm going to approach the Avs. And then, on the Detroit side, we talked about the line with Fabry over Bertuzzi. And of course, Fabry scored 2 goals yesterday. It was just an absolute stone cold lock. But I don't know. Darcy has been beatable this year. He hasn't been, how he was in Arizona. I'm not saying go all in on the Detroit Red Wings top line and a 2.6 total on a back-to-back on the road, but if you're making 20 lineups, I don't mind having, 1 or 2 of 20 Detroit 1, but that's really about it on the Detroit side. And then Colorado, I think I'm going to mix and match the power play stuff.
Yeah. One thing that stuck out to me with Colorado is the third line. And I'm going to talk about the third line for a reason. It's because I actually have interest in the Detroit third line here. Zadina, Rasmussen, Ernie. And I bring that up is because we have their stacks projected at virtually the same output. Colorado 3 at 17.8 points and Detroit 3 at 17.4 points. I just bring that up because, like, if you're looking to get super expensive Florida, Colorado, Pittsburgh, Washington, what have you, you need to go look for some filler spots. And Rasmussen and Zadina have been good together this year. Only 35 minutes together, but 54% of the shots, 54% of the scoring chances. Zadina has been good this year. Rasmussen has been good this year separately. So it would make sense that they've been good together. I think Detroit 3 as a 2-man in super expensive stacks makes sense, but this is a Colorado game for me. I'm going to stay away from the second line. I would just focus on the top line. And I agree with what you said. Take out Logan O'Connor, put in Burakovsky. In fact, you could probably just leave O'Connor and put Burakovsky there. Like, I'd be perfectly fine with 3 Colorado wingers in my lineup here tonight. Colorado 1, Adam Burakovsky. I don't think you necessarily have to put in Cale Makar with your Colorado 1 stacks. And that's because Devin Taves has been playing like 24 minutes a game for his last 5 or 6 games. And, it's a good way to save some money because you did talk about how expensive it is. It is ridiculously expensive to stack in that Colorado 1. So I think, Colorado 1 plus Taves, or Colorado 1, put in Burakovsky plus Makar, something like that definitely makes sense. So that's where I'm at here. Colorado 1, maybe a Detroit 3-2-man of Zadina and Rasmussen or something like that in your fillers as well. On the blue line, I just mentioned Devin Taves. I do like Devin Taves again here tonight. He's starting to get up in price of 5,600, but honestly, with the minutes he plays for the team he plays for, I think it's still just fine. Philip Hronek played 24 minutes last night for Detroit. If I knew he was going to play that again here tonight, I would probably play him at 3,500. I just don't know. What do you think about this game on the blue line?
Even if he plays 19, 20 minutes at 3,500, I think he's still viable. Moore is just gravy. I don't mind him. That's really about it. On the wing side, I agree with Tays. Makar, if you want to, is perfectly fine. Also, Gerard, I think, is an interesting play as well.
Yeah, I always find myself getting to Gerard somehow. It's like, oh, I'm going to play Makar today. And then 2 hours later, it's like, oh, I guess I'm going down to Tays. And then 30 minutes before long, it's, I need the space. We're going down to Gerard, boys.
Yep.
So,
yep, just love the spinning into the zone. We got to play Gerard.
Yeah, exactly. I mentioned Yahoo Fantasy earlier in the show, and we have partnered with Yahoo Fantasy this NHL season to bring you some great offers. Check out our exclusive limited time offer, which gets you 1 free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. To qualify, you need to be new to Yahoo, sign up for an account via the link below, deposit and play. That's it. Yahoo will send us your name after you've played in your first paid contest, and we will reach out via email with your coupon. If you need immediate access, email support@awesemo.com and we'll get you set up right away. You can also claim a free $10 of site credit by clicking the link in the video description below, which can be used to enter any Yahoo contest, including tonight's $100,000 Thursday night football baller. Make sure to use our DFS tools and projections designed specifically for Yahoo to give yourself the best shot at winning big. That's a free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum for new Yahoo users. Just click the link in the description below. All right. 3 games left, 15 minutes to do it. Lots of time. Florida, 3.9 implied goal total going into Arizona. The Coyotes have a 2.1 implied goal total. There is some news from Arizona here. Nick Schmaltz back for the Coyotes. He has been out all season due to injury. He's going to be playing with Lawson Krause and Barrett Hayton. Kessel, Boyd, Keller expected to stay for Arizona. On the Florida side, Anthony Duclair is back for the Panthers. He's back with his usual line mates on the top line with Barkov and Verhaeghe. Sam Reinhart stays on the second line with Bennett and Huberdeau, third line of Lundell, Vetrano, and Max Mammon. All right. I think this is the spot of the day. Tell me something here, Josh.
Yeah, so I just loaded in Panthers Power Play 1 into the lineup builder. If you want to make it fit to have 2,500 average for a defenseman, a winger, and utility, you have to play Thomas Greiss.
I mean, I can be talked into it. I don't want to do it, but I can be talked into it.
Okay. Woo. I think with that in mind, I think I really just like Florida 2 here. And it is like, it hurts to say because I really want to play Barkov tonight. But the Coyotes penalty kill is just atrocious. And you want to go to that top line, fine. Like Duclair's back and he's 6,300, not on the top power play. It's just a bit crazy to me. And like Aaron Ekblad, always so involved. I think like, if you're going to power play stack, like the tough decision is you're going to have to leave off either one of Ekblad or Barkov. And that's just, you know, a double-edged sword. It's pick your poison. Like if you leave Barkov off, he's going to hat. You leave Ekblad off, he's going to, you know, have the combo meal with 3 assists. You know what I mean? So like, I think, you know, Florida 2 is my favorite spot of the night. Surprise, surprise. I really wanted to power play stack them. It's just like insane. Like if you put in Greiss, you still need 3 min-price players to fill it out. So I think what I'm going to do is, you know, put in Florida 2, put in one of Barkov and Ekblad with them, and then, you know, find some value around them. But like maybe their ownership comes up now that Chandler Stevenson's out. We'll get to that in a bit. I want to see their new ownership run, but I still think the Panthers are in the best spot of the night. Florida 2, fully correlated, perfectly fine. You want to use that top line. I think, you know, that's perfectly fine as well. I just want to concentrate on the power play just because of how bad the Coyotes penalty kill has been. And then on the Coyotes side, like Yeah, Nick Schmaltz is back, but he doesn't shoot, and now he's playing wing with Barrett Hayton and Lawson Krause. Like, why? Like, they should just make Keller, Schmaltz, Kessel. Like, that will.
Well, no, they'll get there eventually. It's just going to take 6 games, and they're going to score 3 goals as a team in the meantime.
Yeah. And when that line does come together, it's absolutely going to break everyone's, model, because like they're going to be like 8,000 a full stack, and they're going to be projected for like 31 points as a line. And, it's just going to be crazy. But like, as it is, I think this is just a Panthers game for me.
Yeah. You're telling me I can Florida power play stack, put in Thomas Greiss, and use Detroit 3 all in the same lineup? Buddy.
Say no more. Take my money.
Yeah, exactly. No, I do absolutely love that Florida second line here tonight. Definitely one of my favorite lines on the entire slate. One of our better leverage lines by our top stacks tool. They're in the top 3, along with a Washington and a Winnipeg line that we'll get to probably in the next game. But yeah, Florida 2 coming in under 20K, coming in very positively leveraged, I should say, coming in with they have a higher projected total, or higher projected fantasy point total than the Florida top line, and basically the same projected total as the Winnipeg top line. So like, it says Florida quote unquote 2, but it's a top line in everything but name. So I want to take advantage of that awful Arizona penalty kill. It's just, I agree with you. You have to decide whether to put in Ekblad or whether to put in Barkov. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I'm leaning towards probably putting in Ekblad, but formatting the Florida Panthers power play and leaving off Alexander Barkov just feels like one of the stupidest things you can do with DFS. So
yeah,
I don't know how I'm going to handle it. I don't know how I'm going to handle it. All I'm going to say is that I'm playing Florida.
Yeah.
I also like the third line for the Panthers here. Lundell and Vetrano, like, excellent numbers together. 72 shot attempts per 60 minutes. Controlling 55% of the shot attempts. So if you don't want to play the expensive Florida guys, but you still want a piece of this game, I think a Lundell Vetrano 2-man against, I don't even know what the third line is from Arizona because it doesn't matter. Lundell Vetrano, a good 2-man for me, but I really like that Florida second line. On the blue line, I'm going to go into it a little bit deeper on a different show because we are starting to run a little bit shy of time, but I'm a big believer in a second half turnaround for Jacob Chikrin. I just don't know if I want to do it in this game because there's so many other expensive defensemen and spots I want to get to. But like, I think this is a decent spot for a 6,500 Chikrin, as crazy as I feel actually saying that out loud. Who on the blue line from the Florida side? Because they are a little bit more expensive than they have been.
Yeah, I know everyone's expecting me to say, Radko good ass. We love a good ass here at Awesemo. But like, at 3,400, I'd rather find the 900 for Gustav Forsling, honestly. If you want to use good ass, that's fine. I think I'm going to try to find the money for Forsling if you can't get up to Ekblad. Also, Uyghur. Something like I was talking to you about last week. Like this, I don't know if this is the slate because everything's so expensive, but like using both Uyghur and Ekblad in your lineup. Like I don't know. It could be a good way to get contrarian, but like Florida's not going to be highly owned tonight according to the ownership projections. But on nights where they're going to be high owned, I think getting in both Uyghur and Ekblad makes some sense.
I don't even hate that for tonight. Like, if you don't want to play, like if you're not playing Colorado 1 and you're not playing Florida 1, double defense from Florida absolutely makes sense. I won't be doing it tonight, I don't think, but yeah, I can definitely see an avenue where that works. All right, next game. Winnipeg 2.7 implied goal total. They're going into Vancouver. The Canucks have a 2.8 implied goal total. There's money coming in on the Vancouver side. I noticed on the Vegas in the Vegas money lines, and there's money coming in on the over as well. So people are expecting Vancouver goals here tonight. What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, and you see the Miller Besser line and the Pettersson Garland are the worst leverage spots on the slate. So I think what I kind of like, to be honest, is going to this Horvat Niels Hoglander 2-man if you want to get, different on Vancouver, just because they're going to get Scheifele, Connor Wheeler, and like their numbers 5-on-5 leave a lot to be desired. Horvat, Hoglander have good numbers together. Hoglander's been shooting. They're only coming in at, like 3-4%, which is about half of what the Pedersen line is coming in like a quarter of Miller Besser. So like, I don't mind it, and they're cheaper for the 2-man. Honestly, if you want to go to Miller Besser, I think that's fine, but like 17%, and they're kind of cheap. So I think, they're going to be a pretty popular build with some of these more expensive options, especially Pedersen Garland, because they're 8,700 for the two of them. Like you can fit them in pretty easily with the more expensive spots. I really think like if you want to get different and still want to use Vancouver going up against Eric Comrie, I do really like the Horvat Hoglander 2-man, and I get that their power play correlation is almost non-existent, but we've talked about it. Like Winnipeg's penalty kill has gotten a little bit better. It's middle of the pack. It is Eric Comrie, so it does downgrade, but we're not talking about the Winnipeg penalty kill like it's the Coyotes again. So I think getting a decent 5-on-5 matchup, I think you can get away with using Horvat Hoglander. Obviously, if you want to use that second and quote unquote third line with the Pedersen Garland stuff, I think that's perfectly fine. I think, I'd rather play Pedersen Garland over Miller Besser, just personal preference.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah. They're going to be lower owned. They're actually cheaper and on the top power play. But I honestly like Horvat Hoglander. And then on the Jet side, Horvat Hoglander did a really good job, surprisingly, on Boston 1. Yeah, Boston 1 has had some struggles, but like they looked really good defensively the other day.
Horvat Hoglander has been a good defensive line this year.
So I think again, like a broken record, I'm going to go to the Winnipeg second line. I like Kopp, Dubois, Ehlers. They're only 4%, like similar to Florida 2 here. They're going to get Miller Besser or Pedersen Garland, which they're good offensively, not great defensively. So I think Winnipeg 2 makes some sense. And for some reason, in a 2.8 total home, there's a lot to like on Vancouver.
Yeah, it is weird. I like the Pedersen. I'm just going to go quickly. The Pedersen Garland duo is the one I'm focusing on the Vancouver side the most. For this reason alone, it's Connor Garland is just shooting the absolute lights out of late. Over 20 shot attempts per 60 minutes over the last month. And Elias Pettersson is third on the team in shot rate over that span. So two of the three forwards that lead this team in shot rate are playing on the same line together. So that's why I'm going to go to Garland Pettersson. That's my favorite duo. They actually we talked about their numbers on the day before show or yesterday's show. I can't even remember.
It all blends together.
Yeah. But they were at about 55% shot share, 60% scoring chance share, or maybe those numbers are reversed, but either way, well above average. So Pettersson and Garland, absolutely for me. On the Winnipeg side, I agree with you that Winnipeg 2 line is the line for me, but I'm going to be honest and say in my 1 to 3, I don't have any interest in Winnipeg here. I'd rather play Nashville. I'd just say that. So that's kind of where I'm at. I agree with you. If I were to play a line, Winnipeg 2 has been very, very good. Dubois and Ehlers have just been excellent all year together. It's just I'm not playing them particularly in this game. On the blue line, Travis Slamenik, unfortunately, he's out, so we can't put him in. Oh my God, I don't even know. I don't even want to think about where those minutes are going to go, especially if OEL doesn't play tonight because he was injured in their last game as well. Like we could be looking at like 24-minute Luke Shen night or something like that. So what do you like for defensemen here?
Hear me out here. Tucker Pullman's kind of like the Walmart version of Travis Hamonic.
I was going to say Tucker Pullman reminds me of Logan Stanley.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Yeah, 2,700, especially if OEL's out too. He's going to see close to 20 minutes. He does block some shots, so I don't mind Tucker Pullman. I prefer him over Luke Shen. Tyler Myers, 3,600 is okay. He's getting like 17% ownership right now, which is quite a scene. Brad Hunt, if he's in the lineup, power play 2. He's probably going to play like 9 minutes, though. It is concerning. On the Winnipeg side, Nate Schmidt makes some sense. More on FanDuel. He's way cheaper on FanDuel than he is on DK. Logan Stanley, Dean Witter. I always want to say that after, like, there's just like a law firm commercial. It's like Logan Stanley, Dean Witter. But like Logan Stanley, Brandon Dillon, either of those guys are fine at min price for some shot blocking.
All right. That sounds good to me. If you guys haven't checked out oddshopper.com here at Awesemo, it is a free tool we have here at Awesemo that helps people shop for the best betting odds that they can find. It does a lot of the research for you. I'm just looking at the website right now. If you want to play NFL props this Sunday, looking at Ty Johnson rushing yard prop, it has the best bet at PointsBet, and next to it is a Jamal Williams rushing yard prop, has the best bet over at Caesars. So it picks out which lines it can find automatically and gives you the best lines available to you in your area. So check out oddshopper.com if you're into sports betting at all. I know you use it, Josh. I do use it. I don't use it as much because it's more NFL and NBA and those sorts of things, but it's just a wonderful tool for anybody that is into sports betting. And like I said, it's free. Not too long left in this show. Coming up right after us, we have the Awesemo Fantasy Football Show with Eitan and Saboka and Tara. Then the NFL Sunday NFL Show with Kaufman and Eric. And then your NBA Double Dose starts at 5 o'clock Eastern. Before we get out of here, one more game to talk about. If you guys could click the like and subscribe buttons, and also click that bell if you want to get alerts when we go live. Philly with a 2.3 implied goal total going into Vegas. Vegas has a 3.7 implied goal total. Philly put together Giroux, Couturier, and Konechny in their last game. And I'm not a fan of the Flyers at all, basically at any part of their lineup, but that's a very good line, and it has been all season when they played together. So that changes things for me in this game. What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, and Chandler Stevenson's out, and Nick Roy moved up. So I'm wondering if Vegas is going to send out Carlson against Couturier. In parts of last season, they're sending out Carlson against Top Comp when Stevenson was in. So I'm wondering if they're going to do that. And I'm going to have to look into that a little bit deeper. But if that's the case, I think the ownership's going to come down now that Nick Roy's with Stone and Pacioretty. But if they are going to get the Hayes line, I really like that spot as well. I'm going to have to look into that. But because with Couturier and Giroux together, it's kind of a tough spot. So it's kind of matchup dependent. Whichever line doesn't see Couturier Giroux is the one I'm going to be interested in on the Vegas side. If you want to go down to that third line too as well, Mark Dadonov 2-man does interest me some against the depth of the Flyers, which is just bad. So yeah, this is a Vegas game for sure. I just want to see if I can get some clarity on which lines can see Couturier Giroux. On the Flyer side, 2.3 total on the road. I don't mind that top line, but I just don't know, if I want to. In 1 to 3, obviously, I'm not going to have any, but in 20 lineups, I maybe will have 1 or 2.
Yeah, I will say I'm just on Vegas 2 and Philly 1 here tonight. Vegas 2. That's pending, like you said, whether they're not going to get that matchup. I'm going to have to look into that. But I do like that Flyers top line. I don't care about the matchup. Probably not going to play them in 1 to 3. In 20 maxes, I would absolutely be considering the Flyers top line in 1 or 2 lineups. All right, we got to get out of here. Josh, I'm going to ask you for your hat trick pick and your goalies. My hat trick pick for tonight is Slip and Sammy Reinhart, and my goalies are Thatcher Demko and Carter Hart. Who you got?
Yeah, I like those two. Who else? There was someone else going up. Man, there's some just really expensive spots. I don't mind Bobrovsky. He has shutout upside. Ilya Samsonov is the guy that I like as well. And my hat trick pick is going to be Niels Hoglander.
All right, Niels Hoglander, Sammy Reinhart, your hat trick picks. We got to get out of here. Coming up is that Awesemo Fantasy Football Show. We'll be back tomorrow morning with our NHL show. For producer Tyler, for Josh Harris, I'm Mike Clifford saying good luck tonight, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow.